Hello everyone, welcome to Even the Scales. Thank you for clicking on this video today, and I hope you're all having a good weekend. My name's Donna, and today on my channel I'm going to talk to you more about the mind control abuse that the majority of my community here in Campbelltown has been carrying out on me. First of all though, I would like to do an acknowledgement of country and first acknowledge the Dharawal people, who are the true custodians of the land that I bring you these messages on today. I would also like to pay respect to elders past and present, as well as extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are watching this video today. So for those of you who haven't heard my story before, my family, the majority of my community here in Campbelltown, New South Wales, the police and other authorities have been carrying out something called MK Ultra mind control on me. If you are not aware of what that is, it's when a large group or community, or it can even just be a family, all get together and carry out very cruel and premeditated abuse tactics on one person or a family member. This is to make the person get sick. It's to cause them either serious mental or physical illness or even death. Sometimes people die from this, and it can also cause people to take their own life. And this is because of the fact that they purposely isolate you and they make sure that you have no help whatsoever. They also attack every area of your life to try and break down your foundation. They will try and attack your money. They will spread lies, deliberately spread lies to keep people away from you, just to make sure that you're isolated. So this is what has been happening to me. I've reached out to several organisations in the past for help, and they haven't helped me. These are organisations that are meant to help people who are going through abuse. I've also reached out to some people that have even been in the public eye that are meant to help people that are going through abusive situations, and they have not helped me. And I feel this is probably because they have either been paid off not to help me, or they have just been told not to help me by the police or the justice system, because this is actually happening because it is a part of a massive police cover-up. It's a way of taking a person's life as a group or as a community in a way that where nobody has to get their hands dirty. So they just try and make the person pass away just from losing hope in their life. They hope that they take their own life. They hope that they get sick, and they just carry out like just relentless abuse on one individual. Everybody gangs up on the one person. So my family and the police have been actually carrying this abuse out on me for over 2 years now. But the abuse got worse around a year ago when I wrote a letter to the police explaining how I had been treated and how police had responded to my calls for help during the time that I've lived with family and domestic violence over the past 9 years. There were 12 calls made to the justice system in total during that time, and on each and every one of those occasions, I was either treated unfairly or some of my reports weren't even followed up. This is because the police do not want this information getting out to the public. They don't want the public to know how they dealt with those calls while I was living with domestic violence, because they don't want to take accountability for the countless people that are losing their lives in domestic violence situations here in Australia, because it probably has a lot to do with the way they respond to the calls. So they don't want the public to know about that letter that I wrote or what I experienced. And there's also a number of other things that they're trying to cover up as well. Another thing is that I reported a pedophile in 2020 The police have done nothing about this person. They are still living in a community, and this is because they did nothing about that person because it was just all a part of the abuse that they've been carrying out on me. So it was all to psychologically abuse me, the fact that they did nothing about them. So that's another thing they don't want people to know. Another thing is that my family members have stolen an inheritance from me, and the justice system have helped them do that in the past. So this is another thing they don't want to take accountability for. There are also a number of other crimes that there have been police officers involved in, and those police officers have been connected to this family, and they don't want the truth getting out about them. One of those crimes is actually a very violent crime against women as well. So it's all of these things that they don't want getting out. So this must be what they do, what the justice system do to people who know about police that have committed crimes. That's, that's the logical thing that I think is being done here. But I don't regret writing that letter at all. I still think that I've done the right thing by writing that letter and raising awareness of what happened. So I'm going to talk about what's been happening since the last time I spoke on the last video. While a lot of the abuse tactics have quietened down, there's still abuse being carried out on me. There's still a lot of abuse being carried out on me, and probably the worst thing that I'm experiencing right now is the way that my privacy is being violated. There's a listening device in my home, and my car's tracked everywhere I go. There's also a listening device in my car, and all of my devices have been hacked. So it's pretty disgusting, and it's really hard to believe that I'm actually living in Australia right now, considering that I'm going through something like this. And the police are actually allowing the community to listen in on my home with them, and the community can also see what I'm doing on all of my devices. So, I have no privacy whatsoever, and this is what I want. I want my privacy back. My rights are being violated in ways that no human being should ever have to go through. So they're doing this so that they can carry out this abuse on me, so that they know what I'm doing at all times and where I'm going. And to carry out this whole thing, whoever is kind of overseeing the whole thing has researched my entire life. Every single detail of my life has been researched, dating right back to my childhood. So that this is so they can use the details of the abusive relationships that I've been in the past, my childhood traumas and things like that. These are the things that they're using against me as well to carry out this abuse. And they're also using things like my health records, so they're trying to make my health conditions worse and things like that. And to do this, they must have interviewed my ex-partners, my family members, my old friends, a lot of the people that I actually had around me in my life that I actually trusted have given information for this. And, they must have been paid or something like that for it to be a part of it. I don't really know, but I know that these people have given information. I can tell by the abuse that's being carried out on me that, a lot of very intimate and personal details of my life dating right back to my childhood are being used as a part of this abuse. So a lot of these people gave information, and I feel like a lot of them lied about me as well with the information that they've given, because they've had, for one reason or another, they've got their own motive, and they've told lies about me. because my family, for a start, have stolen an inheritance. So obviously their motive is going to be greed. They don't want to give that money back. And there's also a lot of jealousy in my family as well. And obviously my exes, probably wanted revenge on me. I've been in narcissistic relationships in the past. They were abusive. So, you know, a narcissist will seek revenge on you whether you've done anything to them or not if you walk away from them. So I feel like, a lot of those people have probably lied for one reason or another about me. And I feel like there is one person that oversees all of this whole operation. And this person is extremely sick-minded, and the abuse tactics that they use are very, very cruel, and they're very, very oppressive. And this person tries to control as much of my life as they possibly can. They listen in on my home 24/7. And this person is just a very sick and disgusting person, just from what I have experienced from the things that they're doing. They send abuse towards me constantly, whether I'm in my home or if I'm out. And they base that abuse on the information that they've collected or what I've been doing in my home. They also control everything that I see on my digital platforms that I use, like the ads and things like that. And they use those to psychologically abuse me as well in different ways. They also try and control the music that I listen to. If they can, they will try and do that. Sometimes I try and control that myself, but sometimes if I put a playlist or something like that on, this person will, you know, get ahead of me and try to put songs on, that are going to cause me some kind of psychological pain for one reason or another. Um, this person tries to control so much to the point where sometimes I've only got to get up and open my door or go to a room where there's an open window. This person will send people or loud traffic past my home, or they'll just send people walking past and things like that. It's just to try and exercise that control over me that they are doing this. Sometimes I'll just go to my letterbox, and because they hear me grab my keys and go outside, they will send a loud truck past with stinking exhaust or something like that, or they'll get a car to pull up, and the people might not even do anything, but it's just the fact that they're doing this to just show that control that they have over me because they are listening in on my home. If I go out anywhere, this person sends stalkers towards me from every direction. The last couple of times I've been out, there have been hundreds of stalkers being sent towards me. There are still stalkers coming towards me on the road, trying to cause me issues on the road. They will try and cut me off. They will like turn a corner suddenly in front of me without using their indicator. Sometimes they'll pull over and they'll open up their door on me, or they will pull out on me suddenly. So things like this, just to try and cause me an accident or just issues on the road. When I go out to shopping centres and things like that, they have people set up. No matter where I go, there are people set up. So what I'm thinking is, it seems like these people, they're being recruited, and what they do, like, they're asking for certain types of people to be there. So it's like these people are going on an app or something like that, like they're being recruited, and they're asking for certain types of people. because they're sending people that look alike my abusers, lookalikes of my abusers from the past. They are also sending a lot of mothers, daughters, and granddaughters. And this is because they know that my family are not in my life right now. They are using things like this just to try and stop me from being able to heal from, the losses and the trauma that I've been through in my life. They know that my grandchildren meant absolutely everything to me, and so this is why they're using them. So the abuse is very, very cruel. So they're sending a lot of children towards me. Into the stores that I go into, they send fake shoppers into the stores, and sometimes these shoppers will mock the things that I do in my home, or they'll just be people with children and things like that. But like, if you didn't know what was going on, you probably wouldn't notice, but I know exactly what's going on here. This has been happening to me for around 11 months now. I am very, very intuitive. I know what these people are doing, and there are so many of these mothers and children coming towards me when I go out that it is just like, it's so obvious. They just come from absolutely everywhere, and it is just so obvious to me what they are doing. And these women will try to get in my vision so that I see them. Like, they will do their best to try and get in my vision, like they'll race ahead of me and things like that. So I know exactly what they're doing. And sometimes in the stores that I go into, most of the time, actually, the staff are involved in carrying out the abuse as well. I counted the other day, and there are actually 117 businesses that I have recorded that I know for sure that have been involved in this since it started a year ago. But I'm sure when the truth all comes out about this, that there will actually be a lot more than that, actually. And I'm a very loyal customer at some of these businesses, and I'm just being so disrespected at these places. And the thing is, the people that are carrying out this abuse, these business owners and things like that, they are just so confident in what they're doing. They are so reckless in the actions that they're taking, and some of them are leaving like trails of online evidence with what they're doing. So I just can't believe how how confident they are in what they're doing. And to me this just shows that they've done this to other people in the past and gotten away with it. So I'm stalked in the public places that I go to, in shopping centres, and what they're trying to do, actually it's anywhere I go, it's not just in shopping centres, but what they're trying to do is gaslight me. They're trying to provoke me into having an emotional outburst or a mental health episode. So this makes me really think about the incidents that have taken place in shopping centres and public places in the past, where people have gone crazy with knives and guns and things like that. It makes me wonder if these people have been going through something like MK Ultra, because I can really understand how I can relate to something like that now after experiencing this. I can relate to how somebody could quite easily lose it if they weren't mentally strong enough to go through it, because it has been really hard to get through this, and I just cannot believe the arrogance of some of these people, the arrogance of the people that are actually traveling to these places to carry out this abuse. These people are like heartless zombies. I mean, obviously they're getting paid for it, but they're actually traveling to abuse me, to cause me psychological pain. And there's old people involved in this as well. It's not just young people, like people that you would think would know better than to do something like this. I just cannot believe how cruel the human race is right now. I really can't. This experience has really showed me how disgusting people are. So sometimes they'll play music in the stores that I go into as well, like to cause me psychological pain. Like they'll take something that I've done in that day in my home or something like that, and then they'll play a song in a store to try and get a reaction out of me. But I know what they're doing, and as I say, like the things they're doing are very subtle. So if I say anything about something like a song that's being played, obviously I'm going to look delusional. I'm going to look crazy. So this is what they want. They want me to say something like that, but I know what they're doing. And I've had to develop such strong control over my emotions and my reactions to get through this, because it's literally been a matter of survival the last year to get through this. To stay in control of myself, to be able to get through it, has been a matter of life and death survival. Because can you imagine how easy it would be for them to lock me up in, a mental health ward or something like that, with no family, no support whatsoever? It would be so easy for them to put me in the hospital and lock me up, and, I may never get out. And this is something that almost happened to me back in February and March of this year. My family and certain members of the community had me taken to Campbelltown Public Hospital. It was all set up, and I was admitted there as an involuntary mental health patient against my will, and I was held there for a total of 5 weeks. And during that 5 weeks, I was put through intense psychological torture by the doctors, the nurses, and the fake patients that they had set up at the hospital. I have made a video on that. I'll put the link in the description box. That video actually goes into detail about what I went through over the 5 weeks that I was in that hospital. It was absolutely disgusting, the abuse that I went through. I just could not believe what was happening to me. I will also put a link in the description box that explains in detail about how the police actually responded to my calls over the past 9 years as well. It explains the details of what I wrote in the letter to them, of why this all started, what they're trying to cover up. So you can go back and watch them. And my family's job as a part of the abuse that I went through in the hospital was to totally abandon me when I was taken there. So I had to practically beg my family to bring me my basic necessities after I was taken there. And their whole attitude changed once they got me there. It was like they got me where they wanted me, and their attitude totally changed. They treated me absolutely disgusting. And they did bring me a few things, but the reason they came in was really just to try and get me to sign my finances over to them. They wanted control of my finances. So that was what they were trying to do. And I think I had to go about 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks in that hospital, I had to go in. I had to just get by with just 2 outfits. That's all I had. And I had to keep washing them and using the same outfits for 2 weeks straight. And yeah, that's all they were worried about, me signing my finances over. I got out of there, thank God. I got out of there. I thank God every day for that. And ever since I got out of that hospital, the abuse has continued. It's been non-stop. I think they thought that it wasn't working, while I was in there. They didn't get a reaction out of me. They tried really, really hard some of the stuff that I went through, it was just so appalling. No human being should ever be subjected to what I went through in that hospital. And I think they thought, like, because that wasn't working, we need to just let her out and we'll probably have a better chance of getting her once we get her out there. But that hasn't worked either. Like, I mean, that was like 10 months ago now, and they still haven't got a reaction out of me. So obviously, whoever thought of this idea didn't know who they were messing with this time, because if it's worked on other people, in the past, I guess they thought it would work on me, but it hasn't. And every single right that a involuntary mental health patient should have in a public hospital was violated while I was in there. Every single right. And once again, I couldn't believe the cruelty of people. That was just so unbelievable to me, how cruel these people were when I was in there. So I guess the worst thing that I'm going through right now is the way that my privacy is still being violated. People are still able to listen into my home. They're still able to look at my devices and see everything I'm doing. And there's a lot of people that live really close to me that have been involved in this as well, and they are actually listening in on my home all the time. These people have been obsessed with listening in on my home, and they've been doing this to carry out abuse on me. And they've been doing it for their entertainment for the past 10 months. Well, actually, probably about a year, because it was only 10 months ago that I became aware that they were actually involved. But yeah, probably about a year, I realise now, or even more, these people have been involved. But it's quietened down now because these people have been caught, thank God. But until a couple of days ago, these people were absolutely relentless with the abuse that they've been carrying out on me. What they were doing, they'd listen into my home, they were carrying out the abuse, and then they were coming back and listening in on my home again to see if the abuse had worked, to see if it had affected me. It was absolutely sick. And they just never stopped. They didn't. I don't know if they were getting paid by the day for what they were doing, or if they were expecting some kind of lump sum of money at the end of it when I passed away, or when I got locked up or got sick or whatever, but it hasn't worked. And some of them were even inviting their friends and relatives over to help them carry out this abuse. The other day, a woman did this. She actually went to the trouble to get in her car and travel here to psychologically abuse me. She actually drove here. This is not the first time this woman has done this. She's done it on another occasion as well. I mean, she travelled here especially to do this, especially to hurt me. She knows my children aren't in my life, and the abuse that she carried out on me was to hurt me because of that. I've done nothing to this woman. It made me angry. It did make me angry. I've done nothing to this person. She travelled to my home to carry out abuse on me. And I just want to add to, I've done nothing to any of these people around here, nothing. I was always nice to them all. Even my family members, I was very good to them all. I was probably overgiving to people in the past, if anything. But anyway, getting back to this woman, she travelled here to carry out abuse on me. And the hardest thing to believe about this to me is that another woman is going out of her way like that to hurt another woman. These women are stalking me. the women that are coming towards me in the shopping centres, the women around here that are involved, they're all stalking me. They're coming towards me to try and make me feel a certain way about myself, to make me feel like I'm not good enough, to make me feel hopeless, to deliberately hurt me or to make me feel jealous because my children aren't in my life. I think to myself, you are the one that's listening in on my home. You are the one who is supporting abusive men by going against me. You are the one who is using your children to carry out abuse on another woman. There have also been people around here, there's been one person in particular, abusing her child just to try and get a reaction out of me. Everybody knows this around here. This woman who travelled here to carry out abuse on me knows this. So she's trying to make me feel a certain way about myself. She's listening in on my home. She's travelling here to abuse me. She's supporting abusive men. There's women using children to carry out this abuse. There's children getting abused. She knows this. She's still abusing me. Obviously, things like this don't faze these women. They don't care. They know that I'm protesting against a pedophile that's still living in a community. They don't care. They don't care if there's a pedophile in the community hurting children. They know that I've been protesting against the noise attacks that are probably hurting children as well, that are ruining the environment for our children in the future. But this bitch still travels here to make me feel a certain way. Not just her, there's a lot of other women doing this too. I think to myself, you should be so ashamed of yourself. And I am actually so proud to be me and to know that I'm nothing like you and I never will be anything like you, ever. You remind me every day of how proud I am of myself because you're disgusting. You're taking money. You are a lowlife. You're taking money to abuse another woman, to support abusive men, and you're trying to make me feel a certain way. So that's how I feel about it all. I just can't believe that women are doing this. I really can't. It's just disgusting. And is it any wonder that children are growing up and becoming bullies with role models like this in their lives? So I want the listening device gone. That's the main reason I'm making this video today. I want the listening device gone and I want the stalking to stop when I go into shopping centres and in public places. It's not only my privacy that's being violated, my human rights are being violated because I have been robbed of the freedom to have an authentic experience in life. I've been robbed of the freedom to move around freely in life right now. There's so many other abusive things that have gone on with this. You can go back and watch any of my videos and they'll talk about, you know, the noise attacks and a lot of the other stuff that's happened through this. I've had car accidents set up through this abuse. I've had projectiles shot at my car with slingshots. I have had my home broken into. I've had my family members, certain family members, I've realised now during 2022 and 2023, we're actually spending thousands of dollars to carry out premeditated abuse that was specifically designed to psychologically abuse me. It was premeditated. And when I think back on it, it was so sick. I can't, these people, some of these people need therapy really bad, put it that way. So I'm not going to stop protecting myself. And who knows how many people this might save in the future from going through something like this, because obviously they've done this to people in the past. They've gotten away with it. I can tell by how confident they are with the things that they're doing. They are reckless. Like they're leaving a trail of evidence. Like they're so sure they were going to be able to take my life through this. So hopefully by raising awareness of this, I can save people ever going through anything like this again in the future. So if you've watched this video to the end, I would really like to thank you. And I would ask if you could share the video or like the video. It would really help me a lot, because it will just help the video to circulate out there, to just make more people aware of what's going on here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. And once again, I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one. God bless. Bye for now.